Aloha guys, you're at the Ala Moana Mall. This is GRTV, episode 336, part 2, looking more into self-defense and being aware of your environment and where we are. I think it's quite a nice atmosphere here. We got tourists coming back into town to enjoy the magnificent Hawaiian Islands atmosphere, and you got Mr. JR all styled up, expensive tie. We get a nice suit. I get a suit, you know what I'm saying? Suit, Zendela suit. And I got on my fanciest shoes. Those guys, those are Mezlan. And on a side note, I always mention about veganism and the karma associated. For me, fashion is important. It's our way of connecting to each other in person, as opposed to people. They're identifying with their style as opposed to identifying with the car or house that they wear or otherwise lifestyle they use. It's like who you are in person. And when you dress up nicely, you're generally well received. You might also end up being a target. Or you might not be well received if you're dressed poorly. For example, I think a lot of the conflicts, quote unquote, between if you want to say minorities, however you want to say, even whites, whoever, and their interactions with the police, it has to do with how you dress. Like if you're dressed well and you're speaking formally, and I don't want to say have a nicer car, but just are like well presented, good demeanor, then you're gonna get treated differently. You know, the same people hanging out with the Gucci over here. We got Gucci on. Gucci's it's like, it's kind of like people, I mean, it's sometimes people just pay for the brand. Like me, I like brands, but I also like what I like is style, and I think some style is more timeless. Yeah. You know, when you think in terms of dressing formally, like you can do so at a very reasonable cost, and maybe accentuate it with a few items that cost $1, $2, $3, $4, $500, but then the rest you can get some secondhand stuff. But just think of it in terms of like, this is your way of saying hello to other people. And why is all this so important to self-defense? Because it's about dressing appropriately. Like in certain places you want to show off your wealth, in other places you want to just wear simple clothing, perhaps even ratty looking clothing that makes you look both unnoticeable, inconspicuous, and also of a limited budget, so that you're not exactly a target. So where are we going from here? Let's continue making our way around. Let's go upstairs. So the issue of check this out. But before we go up, we're gonna check this out. Check out this scene at Louis Vuitton. They have, I think they've recently redecorated, and they have different like this. Very cool. Presentation. That's what it's all about, right? Presentation. So, just giving people space, respecting people's space, seeking space. That's actually a primary element of looking out for danger. I also in episode 1, part 1, I mentioned having money available. Like I always have like 10 ones available, so I can give 1 or 2 away to the less fortunate. And in that way, I'm telling the universe, I'm fortunate and I recognize it, and I also acknowledge and don't ignore the less fortunate. And then if there's a bad situation, I might offer somebody 20, it's like, calm down. Sometimes people are fighting over, they're like angry over small things just because they're limited in their wealth, and so that influences how they operate, and it makes them angry at small things. Like think about it for a second. If you were like rich, or at least if you thought you operated as if you were rich, guess what happens? You know, if somebody like steals money from you or does something rude to you, it's like, all right, you know, they're suffering, whatever. You know, and another trick, by the way, to try to gauge somebody's character, or if you know, is like that. You go like this. If you think someone's a threat to you, maybe they are. Maybe you need to pay them up. Maybe you need to pay them $100, $500. It all depends on the situation. But sometimes it's a smart trick to lend somebody $20 or $40, and then what you do is, check out the sewing machines here. You lend them the money, and then tell them that you don't want it back. So that way, you know, if they're rude to you, say, just keep the money, leave me alone. And that way, or then you could say, or pay me back when you can. And guess what's going to happen? They won't pay you back, and they'll leave you alone. So that's another trick, another strategy. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, I'm going to include a link below in a non-related topic regarding China. China is like the way they're developing, and some takes on the whole communism thing. I know it's not related, but in a way it's related, because in different areas there's less crime. And I don't know what the stats are on that. I don't know what the stats are, especially in different socialist countries, but you know, certain countries it really works where they legalize, say, prostitution, drugs, because when they do that, it takes it off the streets, and it lowers the price so that more people can, you know, conveniently sell it. And you might think, well, how does this relate to self-defense and criminality? Well, guess what? When you live in an environment in which the justice system is smartly twisted and articulated, then people are able to respect one another. They're able to not feel, oh, and you guys are going to get a kick out of this, like, who if I go, man, these niggas going to Victoria's, these niggas are excited about Victoria's Secret, man. But guys, the point is that, like, look into the. In fact, that's what I'm going to include a link on. It's which country should we invade next? Michael Moore. So if you live in a world where there's less crime, an environment, then you can really be more free, have more fun, you know, be friendly, or be in a good mood. Otherwise, you have to be in a neutral mood, and that's so important. That has to do with breathing, because it's not that people make you upset. Rather, it's that you get upset because you're not breathing properly. And so the trick is to breathe properly, even if you're in a bad situation, right? You want to breathe properly. Don't get too excited. That's how manipulators operate. They get people in a emotional mood, and then it's hard for them to think logically. This Lego store. But yeah, that's basically what we're dealing with, guys. You got to be careful. Think about where you are, and just try to anticipate the danger. And how else? I think that's kind of the deal. I think that's kind of the deal, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's good to share with you the Ala Moana Mall. This place is amazing. It's a nice place for people to go, but we have to remember the people out there having hard times, and also remember what types of purchases and services you're buying, making. Sometimes there are people like in India who can offer better deal on digital services. There's a company called Fiverr. It's Fiverr with 2 R's at the end. But just think about how you can basically, if we can connect all the 95% of decent people, then the 5% of the bad people we can identify and either help or humanely execute. You know, because if they can't be helped and rehabilitated, then we can't have them. But with all the technology, genetic, all that good stuff, not to mention monitoring systems, we have some things to look forward to in terms of living in a peaceful world where we don't have to be looking out for danger. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Aloha, take care. Enjoy wherever you are. I hope you got to enjoy some of the scene here. We have some of the scene here. All right.